Two flight attendants fell in love 30,000 feet above ground. The roar of jet engines drowned out the world below, but up here 30,000 feet above the patchwork of American heartland, it was just the two of them. Alex Harper gripped the galley cart a little too tight, her knuckles whitening against the cool metal, as the plane hit a pocket of turbulence that rattled the champagne flutes in first class. Her heart wasn't racing from the bump. It was from the way Jordan Reyes' laugh cut through the hum of the cabin like sunlight-piercing storm clouds. "Easy there, Captain," Jordan teased, her voice a warm drawl straight out of Texas summers, as she steadied a stack of meal trays with effortless grace. Alex forced a chuckle, but inside it burned. How could someone so new to this life already feel like home? It started like every red-eye from LX to JFK. Endless coffee refills and fake smiles for bleary-eyed passengers, but today the air crackled with something unspoken. Alex, 28 and a veteran of 5 years in the skies, had built walls higher than the Rockies. Divorced from a man she'd never truly loved, she'd buried her truths deep, trading whispered dreams for the sterile click of seatbelt signs. Jordan, 24 and fresh out of training in Atlanta, was all fire and no filter, her by pride pin glinting defiantly on her lanyard amid the sea of corporate conformity. They were both American through and through. Alex with her Chicago grit, Jordan with her Southern charm. But in this pressurized tube hurtling east, nationalities blurred into the raw ache of shared glances. The hook hit Alex mid-flight, right after the beverage service when the cabin lights dimmed for that midnight movie glow. She slipped into the jump seat, exhaling a sigh that fogged the tiny window, the faint scent of Jordan's citrus shampoo lingering like a promise unkept. Below, the lights of Denver twinkled like fallen stars, mocking the isolation up here. Then Jordan slid in beside her, their thighs brushing in the narrow space, sending a jolt like static from wool socks on carpet. "You okay, Alex? You look like you just saw a ghost." Jordan's brown eyes, flecked with gold, searched hers with an intensity that made Alex's breath hitch. The main conflict uncoiled in that moment. Alex wanted to lean in, to taste the freedom Jordan wore like a second skin, but the fear of crashing everything, her job, her carefully curated straight facade, clamped down like the cabin door sealing shut. Jordan felt it too, that pull like gravity shifting. She'd boarded this flight hoping for routine, maybe flirt with a cute passenger to shake off the loneliness of crashing on friends' couches between shifts. But Alex? God, Alex was a storm wrapped in silk, tall with sun-kissed skin from layovers in Miami, her dark hair pinned back just so, revealing the curve of her neck that Jordan couldn't stop tracing in her mind. The turbulence eased, but Jordan's pulse didn't. She reached out, casual as breathing, and tucked a stray lock behind Alex's ear. The touch lingered a beat too long, fingers grazing skin warm as fresh-baked cornbread. Alex froze, then melted just a fraction, her green eyes flickering with a hunger she'd denied for years. "Just tired," Alex murmured, but her voice cracked like thin ice under boots. The rest of the descent into JFK blurred into autopilot, clearing trays, the ding of the seatbelt sign, the whoosh of the lavatory door. But every brush of elbows, every shared eye roll at a demanding businessman wove them tighter. By wheels down, the New York skyline loomed through the rain-streaked windows, a jagged promise of chaos. They deplaned last, shoulder to shoulder in the jet bridge, the humid airport air slapping them like a wake-up call. "Drinks?" Jordan asked, bold as brass, her duffel slung over one shoulder. Alex hesitated, the scent of jet fuel mixing with the faint vanilla of Jordan's lotion, stirring something dormant. "Yeah," she said finally, the word tasting like surrender. "One drink." That night in a dimly lit Queen's Dive bar, under neon signs buzzing like trapped fireflies, the walls began to crack. The jukebox crooned Patsy Cline, her voice a velvet ache over the clink of glasses. Alex nursed a whiskey neat, the burn steadying her as Jordan spun tales of her first solo flight, hands gesturing wild, laughter bubbling like soda fizz. "I spilled coffee on the pilot, total rookie move, but he just grinned and said, 'Welcome to the club, kid.'" Jordan's eyes danced, but when they locked on Alex's, the room shrank to the sticky wooden table between them. Alex leaned forward, the air thick with the tang of spilled beer and unspoken want. "You make it look easy," she said softly, her foot nudging Jordan's under the table, accidental on purpose. Jordan's breath caught, a small gasp lost in the bar's murmur, and she covered Alex's hand with her own, thumb tracing circles that sent shivers racing up Alex's arm. But the conflict reared its head like a sudden downdraft. Alex pulled back, the whiskey turning sour in her gut. I can't. I'm not. The words tangled, her Chicago accent thickening with panic. She'd dated men safe, expected, a shield against the whispers that followed women like her in this industry. Jordan's face fell, but not in defeat. It softened, understanding flickering like the bar's faulty bulb. Hey, no pressure. But if you ever want to talk or whatever, I'm here. 30,000 feet or ground level. She squeezed Alex's hand once more, then let go, the absence colder than the autumn rain pattering outside. The next layover in Chicago dragged like a delayed flight. Alex's apartment overlooking Lake Michigan felt emptier than usual, the waves crashing against the seawall mirroring the turmoil in her chest. She paced the creaky hardwood floors, the scent of fresh rain seeping through the cracked window, mingling with the leftover Thai takeout from last night. Jordan's text lit up her phone. Survived the red-eye? Miss your coffee runs already. Simple words, but they hit like aftershocks, making Alex's throat tighten. She typed back, deleted, typed again. Yeah, you. It was lame, but it was a thread fragile as spider silk. Back in the air 2 days later, Dallas to Seattle, the chemistry simmered hotter. The crew rest area, a curtained bunk pod behind the galley, became their stolen sanctuary during the long haul. Alex woke from a catnap to find Jordan curled nearby, her chest rising and falling in sleep, lips parted just enough to reveal the soft pink of her tongue. The hum of the engines vibrated through the thin mattress, a lullaby underscoring the intimacy. Alex watched, mesmerized, the faint freckles across Jordan's nose like constellations she'd never charted. When Jordan stirred, blinking awake with a sleepy smile, Alex's resolve frayed. Couldn't sleep, Jordan whispered, her voice husky from dreams. Alex shook her head, scooting closer until their shoulders touched, the shared body heat a bomb against the recycled air's chill. Conversation flowed like contrails in the wind. Favorite dive bars in Austin. The thrill of cross-country drives with windows down, blasting Springsteen. But beneath it, the emotional undercurrent pulled strong. Jordan shared first, vulnerable as peeling back onion layers. Grew up in a big family, all football and church picnics. Coming out felt like jumping without a parachute. But up here, she gestured vaguely at the bulkhead. It's like I can breathe. Alex listened, the words sinking into her like rain on parched earth. Her own story spilled out in fits, the marriage that was more habit than heart, the late-night Google searches for "Am I gay?" deleted in shame, the fear of losing the job that let her see the world but kept her caged. A passenger call dinged, shattering the bubble, but the seed was planted. Over the next flights, Philly to Phoenix, Miami to Minneapolis, the glances lingered, touches accidental no more. In the lavatory mirror during a quick freshen-up, Alex caught their reflection side by side, Jordan's hand on her waist to steady her against a turn, and for a heartbeat she imagined it. Them together, no masks. The scent of Jordan's shampoo enveloped her again, citrus sharp and inviting, making her knees weak. Then came the storm. Literally. En route from Denver to San Francisco, winter squalls battered the Rockies, the plane bucking like a wild Mustang. Passengers gripped armrests, whimpers rising over the captain's calm. Just a bit choppy, folks. Alex moved through the aisle like a ghost, her voice steady but eyes wild. Jordan shadowed her, their routine a dance honed by weeks of flights. Blankets here, reassurance there. In the galley, amid the clatter of carts, Jordan grabbed Alex's arm. Breathe with me, she said, her palm flat against Alex's chest, feeling the frantic thump beneath. Alex did, inhaling the faint lavender of Jordan's uniform, exhaling fear in shaky bursts. Their foreheads touched, noses brushing, the world narrowing to that point of contact. Lightning flashed outside, thunder rumbling distant, but inside thunder cracked open. I think I'm falling. Alex whispered, the words torn free like a bandage. Jordan's eyes welled, a tear tracing her cheek like a runway light. Then fall with me. Their lips met in the shadows, soft at first, then urgent. A kiss tasting of salt and adrenaline. Hands fisting fabric as if to anchor against the gale. The plane leveled, but they didn't. The kiss deepened, a release of all the held breaths, the what-ifs. The kiss lingered in Alex's bones like the aftertaste of strong coffee, bitter and invigorating. As the San Francisco fog swallowed the plane on touchdown, ground crew waved glow sticks in the murk, but Alex barely registered them, her lips still tingling, swollen from Jordan's fervor. They parted in the terminal with a loaded look. See you at briefing? Jordan murmured, her fingers trailing Alex's wrist like a secret code. Alex nodded, throat too tight for words, the echo of that galley kiss replaying. The press of Jordan's body warm and yielding, the faint moan that escaped when tongues met, drowned by the Engine's growl. Layover in the city by the bay stretched like taffy, sweet and sticky. Alex checked into her hotel room overlooking the Golden Gate. The bridge's orange span shrouded in mist that mirrored her swirling thoughts. She dropped her roller bag with a thud, the room's beige carpet muffling the sound, and collapsed onto the king bed, the crisp sheets cool against her flushed skin. The minibar hummed softly, a lonely sentinel, but she ignored it, pulling out her phone instead. Jordan's text waited. Room 412. Doors unlocked if you want to talk. The ellipsis hung heavy, pregnant with possibility. Alex's pulse quickened, a drumbeat in her ears, the distant foghorn moaning like a lover's sigh. She showered first, the steam rising in curls, water cascading over her shoulders carrying away the airplane grime but not the ache. Towel dried, she slipped into jeans and a soft Henley, the fabric brushing her sensitized skin like Jordan's fingertips. The elevator ride down was torture, mirrored walls reflecting her flushed cheeks, the ding of each floor a countdown. At 4:12 she knocked lightly, heart hammering. The door swung open, Jordan in yoga pants and an oversized crew hoodie, hair damp from her own shower, smelling of eucalyptus soap that hit Alex like a wave. Hey, Jordan breathed, stepping aside, her bare feet silent on the carpet. The room was a mirror of Alex's, neutral tones, a half-eaten room service salad on the desk, the TV murmuring a late-night talk show. But Jordan made it alive. Fairy lights strung haphazardly over the headboard, casting golden flecks on the walls, a half-full wine glass sweating condensation on the nightstand. They sat on the bed's edge, knees touching, the space between them electric as a live wire. About earlier. Alex started, voice rough, picking at a loose thread on her jeans. Jordan turned, cupping Alex's face, thumb stroking her jawline with feather-light pressure. Don't overthink it. Just be here. Their eyes locked, brown melting into green, and Alex surged forward, capturing Jordan's mouth in a kiss that tasted of red wine and relief. It unfolded slow, deliberate, like unwrapping a long-awaited gift. Hands roamed, Alex's fingers threading through Jordan's auburn waves, tugging gently to elicit a gasp that vibrated against her lips. Jordan's palms sliding under Alex's shirt, tracing the dip of her spine, nails grazing just enough to spark fire. They tumbled back onto the pillows, a tangle of limbs and laughter, the bed creaking under their weight. Jordan's hoodie came off first, revealing the lacy edge of a bra that Alex's mouth followed, nipping at collarbone, drawing out breathy sighs that filled the room like music. God, Alex? Jordan whispered, arching as Alex's hand cupped her breast, thumb circling through fabric, the friction-building heat that pooled low in both their bellies. Clothes shed in a trail from bed to floor. Jeans unzipped with trembling fingers, shirts whispered over heads, landing in soft heaps. Skin met skin, slick with anticipation. The air thick with the musk of arousal and the faint salt of sweat. Alex hovered over Jordan, memorizing her. The constellation of moles on her hip, the way her thighs parted invitingly, eyes dark with want. You're beautiful, Alex murmured, voice cracking on the edge of awe, and Jordan pulled her down, legs wrapping around her waist, urging her closer. Their bodies aligned, hips grinding in a rhythm older than time, slick folds brushing, eliciting moans that rose and fell like the plane's pitch. It built in waves, slow grinds giving way to frantic thrusts, fingers delving into wet heat, curling just so to hit that spot that made Jordan's back bow off the mattress, a cry tearing from her throat like shattering glass. Alex followed, pleasure coiling tight in her core, unraveling in a shuddering release that left her gasping, forehead pressed to Jordan's shoulder, tasting the salt of her skin. They lay entwined after breath sinking in the quiet, the foghorn calling distant outside, a lullaby to their afterglow. Jordan traced lazy patterns on Alex's back, fingers cool against fevered flesh. It's real, right? She asked, vulnerability threading her voice like fine wire. Alex lifted her head, sealing the question with a kiss. Real as it gets. But dawn brought the shadow. Briefing at SFO was a blur of safety checks and manifest reads. Their eyes meeting across the room like magnets, a secret smile shared over clipboards. The flight to Seattle was smooth, clouds parting to reveal Puget Sound sparkle, but midway Alex's phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from her ex, Mark. Heard you're seeing someone. Careful, airlines talk. Ice flooded her veins, the galley suddenly claustrophobic, the scent of reheated pasta turning her stomach. How did he know? Gossip from crew Facebook groups, whispers in lounges. Jordan noticed, sidling up during a quiet stretch. What's wrong? She asked, hand on Alex's elbow, concern etching lines between her brows. Alex waved it off, but the seed of doubt sprouted thorns. Just old baggage. By touchdown at Essia, the high from the night before soured into anxiety, the rain-slicked tarmac mirroring her mood. Jordan suggested dinner. A cozy spot in Capitol Hill, known for its queer vibe, but Alex begged off, citing fatigue. Alone in her room, she scrolled through old photos. Mark's arm around her at a company picnic, smiles forced as papier-mâché. The bed felt vast, empty, the sheets still carrying a ghost of Jordan's scent. She texted, "Rain check? Jet lag hitting hard." Jordan's reply was quick. "Everything okay? Talk to me." Alex stared at the screen, thumb hovering, then set it face down, the silence heavier than turbulence. The next rotation ramped the tension. A red-eye to Boston, crewed tight with holiday charters, left no room for stolen moments. Passengers overflowed, kids wailing over dropped toys, the cabin a cacophony of coughs and cart rumbles. Alex buried herself in work, her smiles mechanical, but Jordan persisted, slipping her a ginger candy during a rough patch, their fingers linking briefly behind the curtain, a lifeline in the chaos. In the crew lav, splashing water on her face, Alex caught her reflection. Eyes shadowed, lips chapped from biting back words. The door clicked open, Jordan slipping in, locking it with a soft snick. "You're scaring me," Jordan said, backing Alex against the sink, hands framing her hips. "Tell me what's going on." The confession tumbled out in whispers, the plane's hum masking the rawness. Mark's text, the fear of exposure, the career she'd clawed for in a world that chewed up complications. Jordan listened, tears pricking her eyes, then pulled Alex into a fierce hug, the tiny space forcing closeness that grounded her. "You're not alone anymore," Jordan vowed, lips brushing Alex's temple. "We face it together or not at all." They emerged stronger, the rest of the flight a blur of synchronized service, their bond a quiet armor. But the real gale brewed back on the ground. In Boston's historic North End, over cannoli dusted with powdered sugar that stuck to their fingers like sweet secrets, Jordan pushed. "What if we go public? Just us, no announcements, just living." Alex's fork paused midair, the cafe's espresso aroma sharp in her nose, the chatter of Italian families a warm backdrop. Panic flared, hot as the steam from her cappuccino. "It's not that simple. Jobs, family. What if it crashes?" Jordan's face hardened, hurt flashing like a warning light. "Then it crashes. But hiding? That's the real wreck." The argument simmered through the walk back, cobblestones uneven underfoot, the harbor wind whipping their scarves. At the hotel, words escalated in the elevator, voices low but edged. "I can't lose everything for a maybe," Alex snapped, the ding of their floor punctuating the silence. Jordan's eyes blazed. "This isn't a maybe, it's us." The door to Jordan's room slammed, leaving Alex in the hall, chest heaving, the echo of her own words a bitter pill. Sleep evaded Alex like a delayed connection, the hotel clock ticking past 2 a.m., each second a hammer on her conscience. The room's air conditioner wheezed, chilling the sweat on her skin. The sheets twisted around her legs like accusations. Jordan's words looped in her head. "This isn't a maybe," punctuated by the distant wail of a siren slicing Boston's night. She rolled over, punching the pillow, the faint lavender detergent scent mocking her isolation. By dawn, resolve cracked. She padded to Jordan's door in socks and a robe, knocking softly, the wood cool under her knuckles. Jordan answered bleary-eyed, hair a tousled halo, the hallway light haloing her silhouette. "Alex." Surprise softened to wariness. Alex stepped in without invitation, the door clicking shut behind her. "I was wrong," she said, voice raw as gravel. "Scared, yeah, but wrong." Jordan crossed her arms, but her stance eased, the room's dim lamp casting long shadows that danced with their tension. They talked then, really talked, perched on the rumpled bed, knees brushing, the air thick with the remnants of Jordan's chamomile tea. Alex unpacked it all. The conservative aunt who disowned a cousin for choosing wrong. The airline HR seminars on professional conduct laced with subtext. The bone-deep terror of being the problem girl again. Jordan listened, fingers interlaced with Alex's, squeezing at the jagged edges. "My mama cried when I told her," she admitted, thumb stroking Alex's knuckles in slow circles. "Said it broke God's heart. But then she hugged me. Baked pecan pie till the kitchen smelled like forgiveness. Family bends, Alex. It doesn't always break." Tears welled hot tracks down Alex's cheeks, and Jordan wiped them away, pulling her close until sobs shook them both, the embrace a harbor in the storm. They kissed through the salt, slow and healing, hands gentle explorations rather than conquests, reaffirming what words couldn't. Morning brought fragile peace, sunlight slanting through shears like tentative fingers. Over hotel coffee, black for Alex, laden with cream for Jordan, they plotted small steps. A joint Instagram post, innocuous as a sunset over the Charles River, tagged crew life. "Baby steps," Jordan grinned, her foot nudging Alex's under the table, the diner's vinyl booth sticky with syrup residue. Laughter bubbled up, easing the knot in Alex's chest, the sizzle of bacon a cheerful underscore. Back airborne, the shift was palpable. Chicago to LAX, a full flight of spring breakers, thrummed with energy that mirrored their own. In the forward galley, prepping nuts and juices, Jordan hip-checked Alex playfully, eliciting a yelp that dissolved into giggles. "Watch it, Reyes," Alex mock-scolded. But her hand lingered on Jordan's waist, thumb slipping under the hem to graze warm skin. Passengers noticed, the knowing smiles from a leather-clad couple in 2A. A thumbs up from the flight attendant across the aisle who'd long suspected Alex's secrets. It felt exposing, exhilarating, like popping the cabin door mid-flight. Midway over the Great Plains golden quilt, turbulence hit. A summer squall brewing early. The plane shuddered, oxygen masks dangling like yellow vines, the captain's voice crackling. "Folks, buckle up, it's gonna be bumpy." Panic rippled, a toddler's wail piercing the din. But Alex and Jordan moved as one, faces calm, masks over racing hearts. "Deep breaths," Jordan coached a wide-eyed businessman, her Texas twang soothing as honey. Alex knelt by a frazzled mom, buckling the kid with practiced ease, the child's sticky fingers clutching her tie. In the eye of it, their eyes met across the aisle. A nod, a shared exhale, the bond a steadying force amid the chaos. Cleared air brought quiet, the cabin settling into murmurs and dozes. In the aft lav, splashing water, Alex caught Jordan's reflection over her shoulder. "We make a good team," she said, turning to pull Jordan flush. The doors lock, a decisive click. The kiss ignited fast. Lips crashing, tongues tangling with the urgency of the storm's adrenaline. Jordan's hands fisted Alex's skirt, hiking it up inch by inch, fingers delving between thighs to find her soaked. A groan escaping into the kiss. "Always," Jordan panted, dropping to her knees on the cool tile, mouth hot and insistent, tongue flicking in ways that made Alex's knees buckle, hand clamped over her mouth to muffle cries. Release came swift, A white-hot crest that left Alex trembling. Jordan rising with a wicked grin, lips glistening. They emerged flushed, uniforms smooth, but the glow lingered. LAX touchdown was golden hour perfection. Palm trees swaying against the sprawl. The Pacific's whisper calling. At the employee lot, instead of parting, they drove together in Jordan's rental. A beat-up Mustang that rumbled like thunder. Venice Beach stretched ahead. Boardwalk alive with skaters and street performers. The salt air tangy on their tongues. Hand in hand they strolled the sand. Toes sinking into cool grains, waves lapping rhythmic. "This is us," Jordan said, stopping to face Alex, wind tousling her hair. "No hiding." Alex nodded, pulling her in for a kiss under the setting sun. Surfers silhouetted like distant dreams, the world fading to their shared horizon. But cracks spiderwebbed. A week later, Miami layover turned tense. Crew gossip hit like a crosswind, whispers of that new girl's got Harper wrapped, laced with smirks in the briefing room. Alex overheard in the lounge, the Keurigs drip mocking her as she froze mid-pour. Jordan, sensing the shift, cornered her by the vending machines, chips crunching underfoot. "Ignore them. We're solid." But doubt gnawed, amplified by a call from her sister. "Mom heard rumors. You okay, sis?" The line crackled, Alex's grip whitening on the phone. The airport's PA announcing gates like judgments. The flight to Atlanta was a pressure cooker. Overhead bins slammed, passengers jostled. The heat oppressive even at altitude. Jordan tried bridging, slipping notes into Alex's pocket. "You're my favorite altitude." But Alex withdrew, responses clipped, the galley a battlefield of unspoken barbs. "What's with the Ice Queen act?" Jordan finally snapped during crew rest, the bunk curtain drawn tight, her voice a hiss. Alex's eyes flashed. "It's easy for you out and proud. I've got years invested." Hurt bloomed on Jordan's face, raw as an open wound. "So I'm the easy out? Damn, Alex." She turned away, the bunk's vinyl creaking, silence thicker than the clouds below. Touchdown in hot, humid Atlanta brought no relief. Hotel bar that night, under low-hanging fans whirring lazy, they nursed beers in a corner booth, condensation pooling like unshed tears. Apologies flowed halting. Alex admitting fear's grip, Jordan confessing her own masks from rookie days. "I pushed too hard," Jordan said, lacing fingers across the scarred wood. "We set the pace together." Forgiveness sealed with a chaste kiss, the bar's jukebox shifting to soulful R&B. Aretha's voice a velvet plea. Renewed, they boarded the return to LAX, the cabin a canvas for subtle affections. Shared headphones during downtime, listening to playlists of Fleetwood Mac ballads, heads leaning close, the tinny melody weaving through engine drone. Over the Gulf's shimmer, Alex whispered, "I love you," the words slipping free like a released breath. Jordan's smile lit brighter than the sunset bleeding across the wings. "Took you long enough." Love's declaration hung in the recycled air like incense, sweet and pervasive, transforming the mundane into magic. Post-LAX, a string of domestic hops, Phoenix to Portland, Vegas lights to Nashville twang, became their private odyssey. In Phoenix's dry heat, they escaped to a rooftop pool, the water azure as Jordan's eyes, splashing like kids till pruned and breathless. Alex floated on her back, Jordan's laughter echoing off adobe walls, the sun baking copper into her skin. "This is living," Alex sighed, water droplets beating on her lashes. Jordan swam close, legs tangling underwater, a submerged kiss bubbling secrets. Portland's drizzle welcomed them with open arms, craft breweries tucked in converted warehouses, the scent of hoppy IPAs mingling with rain-soaked evergreens. They wandered the Pearl District, hand in hand under a shared umbrella, its patter a soft percussion. At a queer open mic, Jordan dragged Alex on stage for a duet, off-key warbling of Wagon Wheel. The crowd's cheers a roar that drowned insecurities. Back at the hotel, buzzed and bold, they made love with windows cracked, city hum filtering in, bodies slick and urgent on 400 thread count sheets, Jordan's moans harmonizing with distant traffic. Vegas glittered like fool's gold, but for them it was authentic fire. Slots chimed in the casino below their room, but they ignored the pull, Opting for a desert drive at dawn, the Mustangs top down, wind-whipping mainies as red rocks loomed. At Valley of Fire they hiked petrified dunes, hands linked over sandstone, the earth's ancient hush amplifying their whispers. "Marry me," Jordan joked, dropping to one knee in the dust, a pebble ring offered with mock solemnity. Alex laughed, tackling her down, the kiss tasting of sagebrush and promise. Night fell neon hot. In their sweet mirrors reflected every angle, their lovemaking a kaleidoscope of limbs and gasps, the strip's pulse syncing with their own. Nashville's country soul wrapped them gentle. Honky-tonks on Broadway thrummed with fiddles and steel guitars, boots stomping scarred floors. Jordan, Texan roots singing, pulled Alex onto the dance floor, two-stepping clumsy but close, hips swaying to Jolene. Sweat-beaded brows, the air thick with bourbon and fried okra. But their world narrowed to the press of bodies. Alex's cheek on Jordan's shoulder, heartbeat thundering. A slow song shifted the mood. They swayed, foreheads touching, the crowd blurring. "You're my rhythm," Alex murmured, nipping Jordan's earlobe, drawing a shiver that rippled down her spine. Yet beneath the idle undercurrents stirred. A veteran crew member's sidelong glance in the galley. "Cute, but watch your step, ladies," landed like grit in grease. Alex brushed it off, but it lodged, festering during a layover call home. Her mother's voice, warm but probing over the line's static. "Seeing anyone special? That Jordan from your stories sounds lovely." Alex's grip tightened on the hotel phone. The lobby's marble floor cold underfoot. "Just friends, Mom." The lie soured, Jordan's easy affection suddenly a spotlight. The breaking point crested on a transcon to New York. Autumn gales buffeting the Atlantic approach. The flight was packed, executives tapping laptops, the cabin a hive of muted productivity. Halfway, over Ohio's amber fields, Alex's phone vibrated illicitly. A email from HR. Informal inquiry personal conduct policy. Schedule meeting upon return. Her stomach plummeted, the words blurring as panic clawed up. Jordan, restocking beverages, caught the pallor. "Alex? Talk." In the forward head, door bolted. Alex thrust the screen forward, voice a whisper shout. "They're onto us." "God, what have I done?" Jordan scanned, face paling, but her jaw set firm. "It's vague, could be anything. We fight it." But Alex spiraled, pacing the postage stamp space, the sink's faucet dripping metronomic. "I told you, careers, reputations. This ends now." The words landed like a slap, Jordan recoiling, eyes wide with betrayal. "Ends? After everything?" Silence stretched, taut as a guy wire, broken only by the plane's whoosh. Jordan's voice cracked. "I thought we were building, not burning." She unlocked the door, slipping out, leaving Alex slumped against the mirror, reflection fractured, tears hot on cheeks. JFK's tarmac gleamed under security lights, rain sheeting sideways as they deplaned. The crew bus ride was arctic, Jordan by the window staring at rivulets, Alex across the aisle, arms crossed tight. At the hotel in Midtown, separate rooms felt like exile. Alex tossed through the night, the city's siren wail mocking her, sheets damp with sweat. Dawn found her at Jordan's door, knuckles raw from knocking. No answer. Panic surged, she texted. "Please. Coffee. Lobby. 7 a.m. The ellipses danced eternally then. "Fine." The lobby's atrium buzzed with early risers, the scent of fresh croissants clashing with Alex's nausea. Jordan arrived, eyes red-rimmed, coffee in hand but untouched. "Say it," she said flatly, settling into a leather armchair that creaked protest. Alex swallowed, the words leaden. "I panicked. But losing you? That's the real crash." Vulnerability cracked her voice and Jordan softened just a fraction, leaning forward. "Then what? Hide forever? I'm all in, Alex, or nothing." The ultimatum hung, heavy as humidity. Alex reached across, palm up. "All in. But smart. HR first, then we figure the rest." They met the rep that afternoon, a crisp-suited woman in a glass-walled office overlooking Times Square's frenzy. "Routine check," she assured, but her eyes flicked to their joined hands under the table. "Personal relationships are fine, so long as they don't impact duty." Relief wash, tentative, the elevator descent a shared exhale. See? Jordan nudged, elbow gentle. Alex grinned, sheepish. Told you I overthink. Renewal sparked in Central Park that evening. Leaves crunching copper underfoot. Vendors hawking roasted chestnuts whose smoky sweetness curled in the air. They picnicked on a wool blanket. Gouda and grapes from a corner deli, wine snuck in thermoses, the skyline jagged teeth against twilight. Jordan fed Alex a strawberry, juice staining lips red. The kiss that followed tart and teasing. To us, Jordan toasted, clinking plastic cups, the park's lampposts flickering on like stars descending. Laughter flowed, easy as the fountain's trickle, barriers dissolving in the chill. But life scales don't yield easy. Weeks later, a family emergency yanked Jordan south, her father's heart scare, the call coming mid-flight over Kansas, voice breaking over the sat phone. Go, Alex urged from the jump seat, hand squeezing Jordan's as the plane diverted to Dallas. The goodbye kiss in the terminal was fierce, tasting of fear and farewell. Jordan's duffel thumping forgotten at their feet. Call me, Alex pleaded, watching the security line swallow her, the echo of heels on tile a fading heartbeat. Alone the skies felt vast, empty. Flights blurred. Solo service in first class, smiles strained, the galley echoey without Jordan's quips. Text trickled. Dad stable. Miss you. Alex replied with hearts and plain emojis, but worry gnawed. Nights spent pacing her Chicago apartment. Lake Michigan's waves a restless mirror. When Jordan returned 2 weeks later, gaunt but grinning, boarding the LAX red-eye, Alex enveloped her in the jet bridge, hug bone-crushing. Don't scare me like that, she whispered, inhaling Jordan's familiar citrus, now laced with hospital antiseptic. Reunion crested at 30,000 feet, the cabin dark for the movie, passengers snoring soft. In the crew bunk, curtain drawn, they clung. Kisses desperate, hands mapping familiar curves with renewed gratitude. Jordan's tears salted their joining, slow and tender, bodies rocking gentle as the plane's cruise, whispers of I love you, a mantra against the void. Gratitude wove through their days like golden thread, turning routine flights into rituals of rediscovery. Jordan's return brought a fierce tenderness, extra touches in passing, notes tucked into meal kits. Skies bluer with you. Alex soaked it in, her guarded heart blooming under the attention. The Chicago winter's bite softened by Jordan's warmth. A holiday roster paired them on the Chicago-Denver run, snow blanketing the Rockies below like powdered sugar. In the galley, amid festive trays of gingerbread and eggnog, Jordan swiped frosting on Alex's nose, laughter bubbling as she licked it clean, the kiss sticky sweet, passengers none the wiser behind the partition. Denver's crisp air nipped at layover cheeks, the mile-high city's lights a constellation at dusk. They bundled in parkas for a sleigh ride in City Park, the horses' bells jingling merry, breath fogging in plumes. Curled under wool blankets, Alex's head on Jordan's shoulder, the world slowed, the creak of runners on snow, the faint pine scent, Jordan's heartbeat steady drum. This is forever stuff, Jordan murmured, gloved hands squeezing. Alex tilted up, kissing her cold nose. Damn right. But forever's path twisted. Spring thawed the ground but unearthed old roots. Alex's ex, Mark, resurfaced, not with malice, but a casual coffee invite via mutual crew friends. Just to clear air for old times. Alex agonized, pacing her apartment to the fridge's hum. The lake's ice cracking like her resolve. Jordan, sensing the storm, confronted over FaceTime from an Atlanta hotel. Pixels blurring her frown. Why see him? We're good. Alex rubbed temples, the screen's glow harsh. Closure. He was part of my before, you're my now. Jordan relented, wary. Okay. But I'm here if it sours. The meetup in a Loop cafe, rain-pattering windows, was civil. Mark older, softer around the edges, nursing a latte with regret in his eyes. I was blind, he admitted, stirring foam absently. Hurt you by not seeing you. Alex nodded, the espresso's bitterness fitting, but as she left lighter, the call to Jordan was electric. It's done. Really done. Laughter crackled the line, Jordan's relief palpable. That night, reunited in O'Hare's crew lounge, they celebrated with smuggled champagne. Toasting in a storage closet amid stacked linens, bubbles fizzing on tongues before kisses drowned them. Summer soared, routes stretching to international hops. First together, a codeshare to Toronto. Niagara Falls thundered welcome, mist cloaking them as they boarded the Maid of the Mist, ponchos flapping like capes. Hands clasped on the railing, spray beating lashes, the roar drowned words but eyes spoke volumes. Love's cascade, endless and fierce. Hotel nights blurred in a haze of room service and rooftop stargazing. Toronto's skyline a glittering backdrop, bodies entwined on chaise lounges, the city's pulse syncing with theirs. Back stateside, the airline's annual gala loomed, black tie in D.C., a swirl of brass and badges under crystal chandeliers. Alex fretted fittings, the dress's silk whispering doubts, but Jordan's tucks, tailored sharp bow tie askew, melted them. "You look edible," Alex growled in the limo, fingers itching up Jordan's thigh, the partition's privacy a gift. The event buzzed, speeches droning, clinking flutes, but they shone, arms linked, dancing to a jazz quartet swing. Heads turning with approving nods. A senior VP clapped Alex's shoulder. "Proud of you, Harper, on and off duty." The wink sealed acceptance, champagne sweeter for it. Yet drama brewed in quiet corners. Jordan's family visit to Texas escalated. A barbecue invite extended casual, but laced with undercurrents. Alex tagged along, nerves jangling like keys, the ranch house redolent of smoked brisket and mesquite. Jordan's mama, silver-streaked and sharp-eyed, sized her up over sweet tea, the porch swing creaking slow. "Heard a lot," she drawled, then pulled Alex into a flower-dusted hug, apron strings tangling. "Welcome, darlin'." The siblings ribbed good-natured, footballs flying across the yard. But acceptance settled like dust after a stampede. Night under stars, hammock swaying, Jordan's head in lap. Alex combed fingers through hair. "Told you they'd bend." Autumn winds carried whispers of change. A promotion dangled for Alex, lead instructor in training, ground-based in Atlanta. "It's stable," she pitched over wine in a Brooklyn brownstone layover, candlelight flickering doubt. Jordan swirled her glass, Merlot's legs slow. "But the skies? Us." The conflict crested gentle. A debate stretching through walks in Prospect Park, leaves crunching auburn, geese honking south. "I want roots with you," Alex pressed, hand warm in Jordan's. "Build something beyond altitude." Jordan paused by the lake, ripples mirroring turmoil. "I love the rush, the two of us against the world. Ground me if you must, but don't clip wings." The decision simmered through a stormy red-eye to LAX. Lightning forking outside, cabin lights flickering eerie. Turbulence tossed them, but in the jump seats, hands clasped white-knuckled, resolve formed. "We hybrid it," Jordan proposed post-clearance, voice steady over the calm. "You train, I fly, we meet in the middle literally." Laughter eased, foreheads touching, the scent of Jordan's vanilla balm a comfort. Winter's grip tightened, holidays fracturing routines. Christmas in Chicago for Alex's clan. Eggnog toasts by a crackling fire, her sister's kids shrieking over gifts, the tree's pine sharp in nostrils. Jordan videoed from Dallas, tinsel haloing her grin. "Merry everything." New Year's in Times Square, they braved the crush, ball dropping amid confetti storm. Midnight kiss a vow renewed, strangers cheers a chorus. Spring bloomed pivotal. Alex accepted the role, relocation papers signed in a sterile office, the pen's scratch final. Jordan helped pack, boxes labeled in sharpest scrawl, the apartment echoing with memories, that first post-kiss breakfast, pancakes burning to giggles. Moving truck loaded, they drove south, Mustang trailing the U-Haul, interstates unspooling like fate's ribbon. Atlanta welcomed humid, magnolias heavy-scented, Jordan's apartment a crash pad turned nest. But adjustment chafed. Alex's days grounded. Classrooms humming with rookies' chatter, safety vids droning. While Jordan jetted solo, text time-stamped from time zones away. "Miss your voice in the galley," one read at 3 a.m., Alex stirring to reply, sheets cool without her. Distance nod, calls laced with static and sighs. A weekend clash erupted over dishes in the kitchen. Suds foaming, Jordan's exhaustion flaring. You chose this, don't resent the skies now. Alex's retort stung. I chose us, your absences sting. Door slams echoed. Couch a cold throne that night, the ACs were mocking. Reconciliation dawned raw, coffee black and bitter. Apologies traded over the Formica table. We're learning, Jordan said, foot hooking Alex's calf. Like turbulence, ride it out. They did. Therapy sessions via app. Words unpacking baggage mid-flight metaphor. Date nights anchored. Piedmont Park picnics, jazz under live oaks, hands laced as fireflies blinked. Summer solstice marked pivot. A surprise layover synced Jordan's route to Atlanta. She boarded Alex's training sim, guest instructor badge pinned jaunty. The cockpit mock-up thrummed virtual, but their demo evac procedures devolved to laughter, Jordan rescuing Alex from a harness snag, kiss sealing the drill. Best lesson, Alex panted, cheeks flushed. Crew applauded, the room's fluorescent buzz approving. Yet fate's twist loomed largest. Fall brought news, Jordan's pregnancy scare. A missed cycle amid stress. The drugstore tests weight agonizing, timer beeping, verdict negative. Relief crashed with grief unspoken. Tears in the bathroom tiles gleam. Kids someday. Jordan ventured later, curled on the couch, TV murmuring filler. Alex stroked her hair, honest. With you? Yeah. When ready. The talk deepened, dreams sketched in whispers. Adoption maybe. A home with yard for chaos. Thanksgiving gathered them in Texas again, table groaning with turkey and fixings, toast slurring sentimental. Alex carved, knife steady, Jordan's hand on knee under linen. A secret anchor. Post-feast walks cleared heads, stars pricking velvet sky. The ranch's quiet profound. As leaves turned to frost-kissed lace, their life rooted deeper. Atlanta's sprawl a canvas for shared strokes. Alex's classroom evolved, trainees dubbing her Sky Whisperer. Her stories laced with Jordan's cameos, evoking chuckles over projector hums. Jordan's flights, once lonely vectors, now vectored homeward. Layovers timed like dances. Weekends wove domestic bliss. Farmers' market halls of peaches and okra. Kitchens alive with sizzle and chop. Jordan's gumbo spicy as her grins. Evenings on the balcony, city lights winking below. Wine loosening tongues to future sketches. A house in Decatur, maybe with garden for herbs and room for more. But climax brewed in winter's maw. A brutal nor'easter snarled East Coast routes, stranding Jordan in Boston overnight. The airport a zoo of delays and tempers. Texts flew frantic. Stuck? Love you. Alex paced the kitchen, linoleum cold. The clock's tick a torment. Dawn broke gray. News alerts screamed. Major crash off JFK. Bird strike suspected. Heart seizing, Alex glued to the screen. Anchors' voices droning stats. Footage of debris bobbing in slate waves. Jordan's flight? No, but the call came anyway. Diverted, safe, but the what if hollowed her. Reunion at Hartsfield was visceral. Jordan tumbling from the jet bridge, bag abandoned, into Alex's arms amid baggage carousels grind. Thought I lost you. Alex choked, face buried in Jordan's neck, inhaling airport funk and safety. Jordan held tight, shuddering. Never. We're gravity-bound. They drove home silent, hands clasped over gearshift, the radio's soft rock a bomb. That night lovemaking was worship. Slow caresses mapping scars unseen. Jordan's fingers tracing Alex's collarbone, lips following to breast, suckling gentle till gasps arched backs. Alex reciprocated, tongue delving reverent, drawing whimpers that built to crescendo. Release a shared sob of survival. Spring's thaw mirrored renewal. Promotion for Jordan, senior attendant on international legs, meant longer hauls but with perks. Companion passes. Alex tagged on a Dublin run. Emerald Hills rolling under wings. Guinness foam-cloaked pub crawls where fiddles wailed wild. In a thatched B&B, peat fire crackling, they made love to rain's patter. Bodies slick as the cliffs mist, Jordan's cries echoing off beams. Everywhere with you, Alex vowed, dawn gilding their tangle. Conflict's embers flared domestic. A realtor's tour unearthed tensions. Jordan eyeing a fixer-upper with yard dreams. Alex hesitating at the mortgage's weight, spreadsheets haunting her laptop glow. It's a leap, she argued over takeout lo mein, chopsticks poised. Jordan's fork clattered. So was us. Leap or linger? The spat simmered, sleep fractured, but morning coffee brewed amends, apologies and cream swirls. They compromised, a condo first, steps not strides. Summer's heat wave tested metal. Jordan's route to LAX overlapped an old Flames hub, a casual ex. Text innocuous, but Alex's jealousy a spark to dry tinder. Just coffee, Jordan swore, but the airport pickup soured. Alex's silence a wall in the cab's AC chill. Home unpacked it, wine-fueled confessions on the living room rug. Throw pillows scattered like defenses. Trusts the turbulence, Jordan said, head in lap. We navigate. Laughter healed, kisses trailing to bedroom. Forgiveness in every thrust and sigh. Fall harvest brought harvest of joys. Adoption seminar, a sterile room with pamphlets and couples' nods, stirred butterflies. Our family, Jordan whispered. Hand on Alex's knee under folding chairs, the facilitators drone fading to their pulse. Home they pored over profiles, dreams tangible as the oaks turning leaves. Winter solstice crowned the Ark Christmas Eve flight. Jordan captaining service, Alex surprise passenger and coach, heart full at the reveal, Jordan's gasp over the intercom. Special guest, folks, make her feel at home. Turbulence hit over the Midwest, but they gripped armrests, eyes locked aisles apart, faith the tether. Touchdown in Atlanta snow-dusted, they dashed to the car, wipers slashing flurries, home a beacon. Midnight mass skipped for Hearthside, tree twinkling, cocoa steaming, gifts wrapped in newsprint. Jordan knelt by the fire, box proffered. Twin bands, simple gold etched with wings. Marry me for real, ground and sky. Tears blurred Alex's yes, ring slipping warm. The kiss sealing amid crackles and pops. They made love on the rug, firelight gilding skin, slow and sacred. Vows whispered in gasps. Forever through storms and calms. Dawn broke pink, the world remade. 30,000 feet had birthed them, but ground held the meaning. Love not in altitude's thrill, but earth's steady pull. They rose tangled, rings glinting, coffee perking, life a flight just begun. Epilogue whispers. Wedding in spring under magnolias, family toasting with iced tea and tears. Vows exchanged. In turbulence and trade winds, I choose you. The reception dance to Springsteen. Jordan twirling Alex barefoot, laughter-free as contrails. Later skies called again. A honeymoon hop to Paris, Eiffel-lit romantic, but home waited, roots deep, wings ever ready. Their story? Not a fall but a soar, two women, American hearts intertwined, proving love defies gravity. 30,000 feet or hearth's glow. Meaning etched. Vulnerability the true altitude. Connection the endless horizon.